Well, I tell you what, guys, I'm a little bit confused. We were told that the Tahoe that we pulled this engine out of was a 2000 Tahoe. These heads are identical to my 2002 cylinder heads, and they don't have that little cutout, so I'm kind of trying to figure out, because you can see, neither of these heads have that little rectangular cutout that the 99 and 2000s are famous for. Boy, it's got some serious deterioration to the gasket. This is definitely a graphite gasket, and it's seen better days for sure. I don't know. It's very interesting. So it's still got the metal backing, like it's supposed to. But it's definitely the graphite. Look at that. This one's got one of the dowels in it. We don't want to lose that. Those things are kind of hard to come by. And yes, I know I'm not moving at a super fast pace. I'm breaking into this engine, trying to paying close attention to what I see, so I'll know what kind of condition it's in. Well, that's kind of concerning. I went through, pulled the little trays out. None of the 16 lifters act like they want to come out the top part of the engine. So I'm going to have to, I don't know. I'll try to just lightly try to pull them up, but I don't want to damage the lifter bores, just in case there's something weird going on the bottom of those lifters. It's not just dirt and grime. Probably treat them all to some kind of penetrating fluid. Let them set overnight and see if that'll soften them up and let them come out. I had 4 push rods, passenger side only, that had worn the tips off the push rod. I don't know if you guys have seen that. I don't think it's very common in the LS engines. Yeah, they're just stuck in there from being caked. So what I'll probably do is go ahead and get some of this. This stuff works pretty good. It's called CRC Knocker Loose. I really mean knocker loose. But you can just kind of squirt down all these lifters. I'll let them set till tomorrow morning, and they should come right out of there. This stuff, this CRC Knocker Loose penetrating and solvent, will do wonders to the top of a piston. That's where we first noticed how well it works. You guys can see these. That's a normal, polished, round push rod end. And if you even look at the holes, they have round holes, normal, You could technically reuse that end of these push rods, but look at these. They are misshapen. They're not polished. They have a sanded texture to it with, looks like marks. The holes are no longer circular. They're like cat's eyes or oval shaped. They're totally deteriorated. Similar damage to the rocker arms that these push rods were riding on. So needless to say, all those puppies are going in the trash. But I wanted to share with you what I found. Well, guys, we're into a new day with a lot more light. I did let that stuff soak in. The lifters literally almost didn't want to come out of the lifter bores. There was so much burnt up engine oil and engine general gunk on the oil ringland area of the lifters. I literally had to clamp onto the lifters and force them by twisting and pulling to get them out of the block. I can understand why this thing developed lifter knock. Played around with it a little bit, cleaned up a few of the pistons, just kind of, I don't know, running it through my head. And I've decided that no matter what I do from this point forward, I won't be using this block. I think part of the problem I was having with all that excessive oil in my separator was twofold. Number one, let me walk out here so you guys can see this. It was brought to my attention that your oil separator should be higher than your valve cover. So I didn't know that. I apologize. That's my bad. So the first thing I need to do is relocate either that separator or build one, buy one, / insert different one mounted at a position higher than the valve cover. Makes a big difference in how much oil it'll suck. Number 2 problems list. I'm pretty sure that this 300,000 mile engine just has, the ring seal isn't good. You know what I mean? Like, looking at all the stuff I've had to clean off these pistons, I think we better move forward with a different build. Here's the plus side. I have options of how to move forward and do this right. And I'm sure many of you can relate to trying to do things on a budget, but sometimes you shoot yourself in the foot and you end up doing things you shouldn't do or compromising on quality just so you can get it put back together within a certain given budget, okay? Well, that's called being too cheap, and as my friends like to call it, the cheapest person pays the most, meaning that sometimes you cheap too much and you have to do things twice that ends up costing you more money than if you'd have done it right the first time. So I don't want to use this 300,000 mile block. Over here we have the original Turbo 4.8 block, 4.8/53, but it started out life as a 4.8. 2002, 110,000 original mile, brand new heavy duty Clevite cam bearings. The cylinders are already been final honed, washed. You know, it's ready for assembly. Some of you will know where I'm headed with this. I can either pull the pistons and rods out of this high mileage motor, clean them up, and use the crank that's in my 2002 motor, polished 4.8 crankshaft sitting in that block. So basically all I would have to do, and I'm kind of being facetious here, is pull the pistons and rods out of this block, clean them up real good, throw them into that block. I am currently exploring the options of putting in what I've always wanted to do to that block, Gen 4 pistons and rods with the full floating pins and the heavy duty rods on a Gen 3 24 tooth 6 liter crankshaft and make it work. Through my research and weighing 6 liter pistons and pins, you're under 2 grams. You're less than 2 grams the same weight. So in my research, I concluded that you could run Gen 4 5.3 pistons and rods on a Gen 3 6 liter crank. So I'm currently in the process of doing some searching, trying to find a usable Gen 3 6 liter crankshaft. If you'll look over here on this outside edge, there's no relief. That little cutout that would be in this area, I'm trying to remember which end it's on, but you'll have that weird little cutout that everybody talks about causing coolant leaks. Supposed to be that 4853s from 99 to 2000 are the heads that are supposed to have that. So I went through all that headache trying to make sure I had head gaskets that would work with these heads, because I thought they had the cutout, and they're just like my O2 heads, fully, you know, full faced on the deck side. So, all right, thumbs up on that. Then you look, I've got a good burn on all my chambers, so I feel like these heads are going to be good to clean up, give it, you know, clean everything up, get all the carbon and oil off the valves, degrease them, lap the valves back in, new seals, springs, probably go ahead and take them into jack, have them surfaced to make sure they're flat, and throw them on the new build. Because I'm not trying to build a race car, I'm just trying to build a solid foundation of a good working engine. Why not? You know what I mean? Those 862s with a set of flat tops, because I mean, I'm open to running the flat top or the dish piston in the 5.3, but I mean, if you can get the same price or same deal on a true flat top piston, you might as well run it and get a little bit of free torque out of the slightly higher compression. So that's where I'm at right now. I'm not going to commit 100% to building this O2 block into the 5.3 that I always wanted to build, because it does significantly change the cost of like $500 or $600 minimum to make that move. But you know, when you got the engine this out of the car, well, you might as well build it the way it should be built, or the way you want it built, and run it. You know, I mean, if I can't find the right deals on a crankshaft and a set of pistons, because I've already got a set of Gen 4 5.3 connecting rods, I just need to get a deal on a set of pistons. And a crank has to be a Gen 3 6-liter crank. For some reason, GM made the 5.3, the 5.7, and the 6-liter crankshafts all have the same part number. Go figure that one out. Apparently, the only way you can tell them apart is where the balancing holes are bored / drilled into the counterweights. No one has released any documentation about how to identify a 5.3 from a 6-liter crank, because the true LS157, even though it has the same part number on the crank, has gun drilled, I think it's rod throws or drilled or hollow or something. So they're you visually can tell what a 5.7 LS1 original crank looks like. But you know, when you got 3 different cubic inch displacements all using the same stupid part number on their crank, that becomes very confusing. And clearly there's going to be a big difference in bob weight in your balancing between a 5.3 piston and a 6-liter. So anyway, that's where I'm at right now. I'm trying to do some searching to find some deals. Hopefully we'll find a crankshaft that I can afford, find a decent set of pistons, and try to get this thing put together. I appreciate you guys watching these videos. This video, I know the beginning of it isn't all that great on the lighting, but I had to do that recording at night with just the lights that are in my garage, and you know, they're not that great. So anyway, hope you guys had a good, safe St. Patrick's Day weekend. Like, subscribe, share, and hit that little bell. Thank you.